Hello. So today's video is going to be on project feasibility. And in the context of project feasibility, I'll show you how to use the scenario manager for doing scenario testing. So let me quickly share my screen and let's jump straight away to the case that I have at hand. There we go. So let's say I have a project uh, which has uh, the following forecasts which are available. So the initial investment in the project is 100 crores. The end of year one cash flow, let's say, is given to be at 37 crores. The growth in the cash flow through the life of the project, assume it is 18%. And the expected return of the of investment, the return on investment for the project, assume on an annualized basis, it is 24%. And the life of the project is 7 years. Now, the first thing we need to do is to calculate the NPV of the project. So I'm going to put the years here. The cash flows. The first year cash flow, 37 crores. Next year onwards, 18% higher. So we take 1 plus 18%. And since 18% is a static reference, I freeze this by pressing F4 on the formula against the cell which maps your growth rate. Thereafter, we find out the discounting factors, which is based on the cost of capital, which in this case is obviously 24%. And here also, we will need to freeze the cost of capital by doing F4 in front of the formula against the cell which maps the cost of capital and drag it down. Multiply both to get your present values. And then take the sum of all the present value of all the cash inflows, which comes to be 180.88. From this, we reduce our initial investment, which is 100 crores. And that should help us to get our NPV. So net present value of the project is, in this case, 180.88 minus 100. Now, this is the result that we have got for the project. Okay. And what we will do now is we can create a scenario manager here. So data, what if analysis, scenario manager. Let's take the first scenario, call it as the growth best case. The growth best case in this case is the changing cell is the growth rate. We press OK. Let's say the growth best case is 24%. Then we create another individual scenario for growth worst case. The changing cell again being the growth. Press OK, and let's take the value as 12%. Then we take the cost of capital best case. The cost of capital best case, let's say it is the changing cell, of course, is 24%. Let's say the cost of capital best case is 18%. And then cost of capital worst case, which is obviously going to be a higher value since this is the cost. And let's say that is 30%. And let's say the end of year one cash flow, we take the best case. First, we earmark the changing cell, which is 37 crores. Take the best case as 50 crores, and then end of year one cash flow, worst case, Again, the changing cell changes to 37 crores, which is the appropriate value. And let's say the worst case is 25 crores. Up till now, what we have done is we have created 6 individual scenarios, which actually will help you to do sensitivity analysis, because that helps you to examine the impact on the dependent variable, which is the NPV, by changing each single independent variable at a time. And now we'll actually do scenario testing, whereby we can change multiple independent variables at a time and examine the impact on the dependent variable. So let's do a combined test case now. Obviously, here, 3 cells are going to change: the growth in the cash flows, the cost of capital, and the end of year 1 cash flow. Press OK. And now we need to input 3 values. The best case for growth rate being 24%, for cash flow being 18%, sorry, for the cost of capital being 18%, and for the end of year 1 cash flow being 50 crores. Similarly, we will create a combined worst case also. And again, 3 inputs: the growth rate, the cost of capital, and the end of year 1 cash flow. And input the values. So the worst case for the growth rate being 12%, for cost of capital being 30%, and for end of year cash flow being 25 crores. And now all we need to do is press the summary button, and let's take the result cell as NPV. And here you go. So this is how the scenario manager gets populated. This one here, the current values, this is actually the base case, which gives us or yields an NPV of 80.88 crores. And it tells you that if your growth increases from 18 to 24%, your NPV jumps to 109, whereas if it comes down to 12%, the NPV falls to 57.12. So this grid here is sensitivity analysis based on the growth rates. Similarly, for the cost of capital, where the NPV could fluctuate or range between 120 crores to 51 crores, depending upon whether the cost of capital is 18% best case or 30% worst case. Similarly, for the end of year 1 cash flow, you will see that the sensitivity is the highest here because the range becomes wider. And this is the real scenario testing, where we have arranged or rather examined the impact on NPV by changing all 3 independent variables at once, one for the best and one for the worst. So this is how we conduct the scenario testing. And what we can do additionally is also populate our result. So we can give an if-then condition. If my NPV is greater than 0, then accept, else reject. So, and we can apply a conditional formatting rule here. We will choose the option that use a formula to determine which cells to format, and link this cell. If this is equal to reject, we use the red color and press OK, and add another rule here. And again, choose the option use a formula to determine which cells to format. Let's change the color to green here. And if this is equal to accept, okay, and we press OK. Now you'll see it changes to green automatically. If I make this initial investment to be 200 crores, you will see that this becomes red automatically and reject automatically. So that is also a glimpse into the if then else condition and conditional formatting to make the. So basically, it's an integrated case which tells you how to do what is the difference between sensitivity testing and scenario testing, how to execute scenario testing, what is conditional formatting, and the if then else statement. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Keep watching on my YouTube channel, Concept Canvas. Stay tuned for more. Thank you so much.